Thank you for attending this Connect Together event. During this event, we have automatic closed captioning available. Please go to the bottom of the Zoom meeting, click Live Transcript, and then Show Subtitles to turn them on. Before we begin, we'd like to take a quick moment to let you know how you can join an opinion research panel made specifically for British Columbians living with disabilities.
For 25 years, the Disability Foundation has been fostering meaningful experiences for Canadians with disabilities through outdoor recreation, social connectedness, innovative adaptive devices, and more. Today, we are asking, how has the pandemic affected you? Help strengthen decision makers' understanding of your needs and experiences by joining an online opinion research panel consisting solely of people with disabilities and their caregivers. Make a difference in your community today. The Disability Foundation. Reimagine what is possible.
Did you know? Young adults with disabilities have a harder time getting hired. Break down barriers by sharing your story. Take our survey.
All right. Welcome back. And thank you so much for those of you who have joined today. I'm very, very excited to be here to present on the Thrive program. So before I get into that, I thought I'd share a little bit about myself. So as I mentioned, my name is Anu Pala. I go by the pronouns of she, her, and hers. And first and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm coming to you from the ancestral and traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish peoples. And I acknowledge that I have the privilege to live, work, and play on these beautiful lands. So if you haven't done so already, I encourage you to take a moment and acknowledge the lands that you reside on. All right, so thank you so much. And so a bit about me. I wear a variety of multiple hats. So I am self-employed and I work as a vocational consultant, public speaker, trainer, podcaster, and a variety of other things. I work as a victim support worker with the Surrey Women's Center and a columnist with Accessible Media Inc. So as you can see, I really, really like variety. But today I'm representing the BC Centre for Ability and the Thrive program, where I work as a vocational consultant. So, oh, sorry, one more thing I forgot to mention is that I live with complete vision loss as well. And so that is why I am very, very passionate about working in the accessibility and inclusion field. I feel that we all have, a life purpose, and it's wonderful you can figure it out. So just a little bit of a background in terms of how I became totally blind. So I was living with partial vision from almost birth, I'd say from the time that I was a baby until around age 22, when I experienced a retinal detachment in my left eye. And after surgery, it resulted in me not regaining my vision. And so after that, I lived with complete vision loss up till now. And so once I experienced that, vision loss and going through that journey, I really realized that there could be a strength in this, and I wanted to share my journey and my experiences with other marginalized groups who have faced adversity in different forms. So of course, whether that's disability or whether that's other forms of, adversity. So that's why I'm very, very passionate about the work that I do. So all the work that I do revolves around advocacy, activism, philanthropy, things like that, things that are very close to my heart. So as I mentioned, today I am representing the BC Centre for Ability. The Centre for Ability has been around for a number of years. We are located in Burnaby, BC, and we offer a number of programs specifically around children and youth. And the Thrive program is one of the many programs that are offered to individuals with disabilities. So I'll be referring to the word disability today as diverse abilities, because that's the terminology that we use at BC Centre for Ability. So the Thrive program, what is it? So the Thrive program is an employment program open to youth with diverse abilities or youth with persistent barriers to help them sustain employment. So Thrive is a low barrier program open to anyone under the diverse ability umbrella. And so this would be youth between the ages of 19 and 29. So the Thrive program initially began as a pilot program a couple of years back, and it was funded through RBC Foundation and Coast Capital Savings. And I'm very, very happy to say that over the past 2 years, based on the impact that we have created, we received further funding through Coast Capital Savings, as well as have recently obtained some federal funding as well. So that's super, super exciting, which of course enables us to further advance our work. So as I mentioned, now we're in our second year of the program. So our services are provided across British Columbia, and one thing I also wanted to mention is that our program is available to people with or without an official medical diagnosis. So I think there are some really key things that are very unique about our program, and this just happens to be one of them. I know that with a lot of traditional employment programs, there are certain credentials that we have to meet in order to, or qualifications that we have to be in order to participate in a program. But like, as I mentioned, because our program is very low barrier, this is just one example of how our program is accessible, to all those who consider themselves a person living with a diverse ability. So we support youth in we assist youth in meeting their ideal goals, so whether that be short-term and long-term goals. And we use a goal-based approach in our program delivery, but yet in a very holistic way. So what I mean by that holistic is that we really meet clients in terms of where they're at in their journey. So we don't have a structured program. It's very flexible and free-flowing, which I really, really love, because as a coach, I feel like it's really important to meet people where they're at, because I feel that when people are aligned in all areas of their life, then they can really focus on what's important to them. So when those other aspects of their life are out of balance, then it can be really difficult, to focus on something as important as, meeting goals. So one of the other things that I also wanted to mention is that our program ideally tries to support youth who have completed either a post-secondary degree or have completed some form of post-secondary education. So that's really our target group that we prefer to work with, and it's sort of really within our mandate of who we can support. So, and we're also open to supporting people who are wanting to explore post-secondary education as well. So as I mentioned, we meet clients where they're really at in their career journey. So there are some people, for example, who may have done some kind of work in their previous years, but they want to shift to another field. There may be some people who don't have a clue as to what they want to do. Just because a person has completed post-secondary education doesn't necessarily mean that they want to work in that particular field. So we really meet people where they are at in their journey, and then from there we can start fresh. So as I mentioned, we provide our services to people across the province. And so, of course, like people who are residing within the Greater Vancouver district, we can meet with them in person or virtually. And then for other communities, we can meet with them virtually. And I also want to clarify that people who live in the Lower Mainland, we can meet with them virtually as well. So again, it's really depending on what the individual wants, and we're very happy to work with whatever is most comfortable for them. So tell you a little bit about our team. We have a small but mighty team. So Mark Grunheid is our program manager. Mark has worked in the vocational services area for over 25 years. He brings a wealth of experience and expertise in supporting people with diverse abilities find appropriate employment. And so he is a real asset, to our team, and brings a lot of strengths and experience to the table. We have Marcel Chahal, who has an expertise in working with youth. She initially was on our advisory committee, which I will speak to about in a bit, but we have brought her on board as well to support with our marketing efforts. So she has been a tremendous asset to our team to help us get the word out about our program. And she is our social media queen as well. And so we are very, very grateful to Marcel. And then myself, I am the vocational consultant, and I have worked in the nonprofit sector for almost 25 years, and bring a lot of experience with regards to career development and coaching, and of course, my personal lived experience with disability as well. So as I mentioned, we have our Youth Advisory Committee. Now, I talked about our program being unique. This is the other thing that I find is very, very special about the Thrive program. And we have 3 very passionate, dedicated committee members who are very, very dedicated to the Thrive program. So we have, as I mentioned, Marcel Chahal, and we have Andy Lynn and Nathan Clement. So all of these individuals live with some form of a diverse ability. And of course, they've been through all kinds of different challenges, as we all have, whether we have a diverse ability or not. Life is just like that. But their unique challenges have really enabled them to build this level of resilience and experience, which they are very, very, I would say, passionate about sharing with youth. Because I remember for myself, when I was a youth, finding my way through life, especially as a 22-year-old losing my vision, I was very, very lost. And so I didn't really at that time reach out to any supports in the beginning, because I was still coming to terms with my own reality. But it's really, really a real benefit to individuals to have a support system, and especially if you can have peers to depend on who have been through, it may not be the same experience, but similar kinds of situations or challenges. It can really be a major support. So So Nathan and Andy and Marcel, they've all been through post-secondary, so they understand the different kinds of things that are involved with being a student with a disability. And then they all are employed now as well. So they bring a lot of experience in terms of what does that journey looks like. You know, whether it's like you're a student and you're having challenges with just the daily challenges of being a student, you know, whether it's taking exams or accessing, you know, different kinds of information, whether it's like digital accessibility or, you know, whatever that looks like, but it can be different for different people. And so they are very, very, you know, experienced in that. And then, of course, just the whole experience of finding employment. So whether it's disclosure or interview skills, or just how do you promote yourself? How do you get out there? You know, resume writing, cover letter writing, all those types of things is what they've experienced. And those are the kinds of things that we support with, you know, in the Thrive program. So in terms of our services, that's a great segue actually. So we provide one-on-one case management. So like I said, it's very individualized and holistic. As I mentioned before, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but we do provide very holistic services with regards to our case management. Career coaching. So again, it's not a structured program. This is very, we use a coaching model. So it's very supportive, and we don't have specific like classes that people have to take. It's very just sort of like meeting the person where they're particularly at. And the coaching model, I really love, because it's not like we're telling people what to do. We are, you know, collaboratively working on this plan to set our clients up for success. And so that's something that I really wanted to stress as well. We provide our clients access to job search tools and also access to funding. So whether it's education or training funding, this is through the Opportunities Fund. So this is a really, really wonderful additional support that individuals can take advantage of. Because sometimes a student may, you know, complete their education, and through this process, this exploratory process, they find out that they want to pursue a particular kind of job or a particular type of career or field, but they're missing, you know, they're missing certain training or expertise in a particular area. And so the Opportunities Fund is able to fund some of these types of trainings to set that individual up for success. And so that is a very, very nice thing that people can take advantage of. Through the Opportunities Fund, there also is a wage subsidy opportunity as well to the which is accessible to the employer. And so this is where an employer can apply for a support to hire an individual with a diverse ability for a period of time. And so the employer would pay a certain percentage, I believe it's 50%, I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's a certain percentage that the employer would pay and a certain percentage that the Opportunities Fund would pay. And that would create that opportunity for the individual to, you know, to join that particular employer. And it's a really great way for an employer to take a chance on someone. Because I think there's still, even though there's been a lot of advocacy around promoting inclusion for people with diverse abilities in the workforce, a lot of employers still may have doubts at times, or it could be a particular, you know, position that they're not sure if the individual would be a good fit. Ideally, the intention is that the employer will utilize this funding with the intention that they will hire that individual full-time. So permanently, I should say. So it's not just like taking advantage of the opportunity for 3 months and letting them go, because that's not the goal here. So that's something to be mindful of as well. So along with providing all these different types of tools like resume building, cover letter writing, interview skills, how to position yourself to prospective employers. We also support the individuals with building an online presence, like a professional online presence, and that's through networking. So whether that's LinkedIn or other kinds of social platforms that can position that individual to be a prospective employee. LinkedIn is one of those things that it's a really great tool to get yourself out there and be recognized by prospective employers. And I am a very, very big proponent of networking. I feel like almost every job that I have gotten in my life has been through networking. So of course, networking was done a little differently back in the day before social media. That kind of dates me a little bit, but it really is a very powerful way to get yourself out there and noticed among, different employers. I volunteered a lot in my early days. I still do volunteer, but of course, it's not to get a job anymore. But volunteering is a really wonderful way to, to reach out to organizations or companies that you may want to work with. And so that's what I did in my earlier days. And so that was a form of networking, in those days. But now with social media, we can be very creative in how we put ourselves out there, through creating online portfolios or, even just networking, like reaching out to employers or people who work in a particular field and just like do an informational interview. There's just different ways, of doing that. So we can definitely provide support to our clients with that as well. So I talked about our advisory team earlier. And so some of the supports that our advisory team can support with. So through our Instagram, which our handle is @thrive.bc, we have the ability to live chat or chat live with anyone who is wanting to reach out or has any questions about our program, or maybe they're just wanting some advice or support. We strongly encourage people to message us, whether you're a worker who is supporting a client, please, that you're also welcome to reach out and ask questions, and we'll be more than happy to support you and that type of thing. So we generally, we don't have a specific day or time where we have our live chat happening. So Marcel, like I mentioned, our social media queen, she manages this piece, and so she's on the ball. And so if she sees a message from somebody, she will respond usually, within an hour or so, give or take, depending on her schedule. But she is very, very good at responding in a timely manner. And so I do encourage people to reach out to us on our Instagram as well. So the other thing that we also offer is peer support. So along with this, like the live chat, if there are any youth out there who are wanting maybe more one-off, but maybe like, an ongoing relationship to explore, maybe it could be, maybe you're sort of like looking at what type of courses you want to take or career path that you would want to explore. or maybe having a specific challenge at school or at work. These are the kinds of things that our advisory team is also able to support with. So having that peer-to-peer support. And I think this is also really a wonderful way to provide support to individuals as well. The other thing that we offer is a monthly podcast, which is called the Thrive Podcast. And we offer this podcast, which provides a variety of topics ranging from topics related to diverse abilities. And so we've done topics on mental health and success, like what does success look like to you? We had a guest a few months back who talked about working within the BC Public Service, primarily for BC Pension Corporation. So there's all kinds of, we're still fairly new, but we it's something that we really, really enjoy. It's really amazing. So I produce this podcast, and so I get everyone together, and it's really amazing when we have everyone together, because you really see what everyone brings to the table, our team brings to the table, like a level of experience and the sharing that happens in these podcasts are really, really cool, like really amazing. So if you have not had an opportunity to listen to us, you can find us on any podcast platform that you listen to, whether it's Apple or Stitcher or iHeartRadio. We are everywhere pretty much. So please feel free to reach out. And if you are needing a direct link, you're welcome to email us at thrive@bc-cfa.org, and we'll be happy to send you the link to that as well. So with that, I am concluding our presentation for today. I hope that this information has been helpful, just to provide you with some information about the Thrive program and the types of services that we can offer to youth. So just in summary, we provide services to youth between the ages of 19 and 29. Ideally, people who have either completed post-secondary education, or people who are currently pursuing post-secondary education, or who have just done some form of education in university or college. So we offer all kinds of services to help the individuals on their career journey. And we provide our services in a very holistic way. So if you have more questions, or if you have any questions about our offerings, I encourage you to visit us on our website at bc-cfa.org, and you can click on programs, and under programs, you'll find the Thrive program. And as I mentioned, you can also email us at thrive@bc-cfa.org. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And I look forward to hopefully working with some of you in the near future. And thank you to Connectra for inviting us to be here today to present our program. I'm wishing you a wonderful day.
Okay, that was really nice, no?
Oh my God, I was a bit rusty. I'm not used to doing I'm not used to it, but I like the interactive, talking back and forth. So I'm not used to it's been a while since I've done just plain presentation. So I was a little bit rusty in the beginning.
No, that's fine.
So hopefully it was okay.
No, it was real nice.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I'll end the call.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support.